history of China. The story of Mencius and his devoted mother has become a profound symbol of gratitude and filial piety. Mencius, one of the greatest philosophers of the Warring States period, is renowned not only for his thoughts on benevolence and righteousness, but also for his deep respect and gratitude toward the mother who devoted her entire life to raising and educating him. Mencius lost his father at a young age and grew up under the care of his mother in difficult circumstances. Despite their poverty, she never allowed hardship to hinder her commitment to her son's upbringing. She believed that nurturing a child required more than providing food and shelter. It also meant cultivating virtue and intellect. With love and wisdom, she dedicated her life to shaping Mencius into a person of character, leaving behind an enduring lesson on motherhood and gratitude. As a child, Mencius was curious and lively, as most children are. Initially, they lived near a cemetery. Each day, young Mencius would play among the graves, mimicking the mourners who performed rituals for their deceased relatives. He rolled in the dirt, imitated cries of grief, and conducted mock funerals. Observing this, his mother grew increasingly concerned. She thought, "My son is young. His mind is like a blank slate. If we stay here, this environment will negatively influence him, and he'll learn unsuitable behaviors." Without hesitation, she decided to move. Their first relocation was to a house near a bustling marketplace. However, it wasn't long before Mencius began mimicking the tradesmen in the market. He shouted loudly to attract customers, adopted their haggling tones, and even repeated the deceptive sales tactics he overheard. Seeing this, his mother reflected deeply. Here, he will learn only the chaos and dishonesty of the marketplace. Such an environment cannot nurture him into a person of virtue. Once again, she packed their belongings and moved. This time, she chose a home near a school. Every day, Mencius watched students attending classes, reading aloud, practicing calligraphy, and listening attentively to their teacher. Gradually, his curiosity grew, and he began joining the other children in their studies. His mother noticed a change in his demeanor and habits, and for the first time, she felt reassured by her decision. Smiling, she said to him, "Where you live determines the person you will become. At the cemetery, you learn to mourn. At the market, you learn deceit. But here, you learn etiquette, diligence, and knowledge. This is where you should grow up." Her words became Mencius's first lesson about the importance of choosing the right environment, a lesson he carried with him throughout his life. As Mencius grew older, his mother continued to teach him through her wisdom. One day, he succumbed to temptation and abandoned his studies to play with friends. Returning home early, instead of scolding or punishing him, his mother sat silently at her loom, weaving fabric. After a moment, she suddenly picked up a knife and cut the cloth she had been working on. Startled, Mencius asked, "Mother, why did you cut the cloth? You worked so hard to weave it. Isn't it a waste to ruin it?" With a stern expression, she replied, "When you abandon your studies, it is like me cutting this cloth. I have carefully woven every thread to create a complete fabric. But with one cut, all my efforts are wasted. Learning is the same. If you are not persistent and diligent, all your previous efforts will amount to nothing." Her words struck a chord in Mencius's heart. From that day forward, He never neglected his studies. He devoted himself to reading, writing, and cultivating moral virtues. Under his mother's strict but loving guidance, Mencius grew into a man of profound knowledge and exemplary character. As an adult, Mencius became one of the most distinguished philosophers of the Warring States period. He followed in Confucius's footsteps, developing and expanding on his teachings and his principles of benevolence, righteousness, and humanity left an indelible mark on Chinese history. Despite reaching the pinnacle of fame, Mencius never forgot the sacrifices his mother had made for him. He often told his disciples, "My mother not only gave me life, but also taught me how to live. Everything I have today is because of her love and education." When his mother grew old and frail, Mencius set aside his work to care for her. He ensured she was well-fed and comfortable, spending time with her daily to bring her joy in her final years. For Mencius, caring for his mother was not merely a duty but an expression of profound gratitude to the person who had shaped his life. The story of Mencius and his mother is not just a tale of maternal love, but also a timeless reminder of the value of gratitude. His mother nurtured him not just with food and clothing, but with her patience, wisdom, and moral guidance. She understood that raising a child required more than meeting material needs. It demanded thoughtful education and moral cultivation. Through her lessons about choosing the right environment, persisting in learning, and living virtuously, she laid the foundation for Mencius's success. Mencius, in turn, honored his mother's teachings through his actions and principles. His gratitude and filial devotion serve as a shining example of how one should cherish and repay the sacrifices of those who have given so much for our growth. This story, passed down through the centuries, remains a powerful symbol of maternal love and gratitude in East Asian culture. No matter how much time has passed, its lessons endure. Gratitude is the foundation of all success, and filial piety is one of the highest virtues of humanity.